Okay, so get this, right?
Mm.
Have you ever heard of an on-foot aquatic resource collector?
Yeah, me neither at first, but trust me on this. This job is way cooler than it sounds, I promise.
Okay.
We're talking about people who like gather valuable stuff from the water, seaweed, shellfish, all that good stuff, you name it.
Right.
But it's not like just some simple fishing gig, right? Like we're diving deep into like career guides, interview tips, even checking out how AI is changing the job hunting game, right?
Yeah.
On
Mhm.
platforms like RoleCatcher, all that.
It's wild, like how this job, which seems so niche,
Yeah.
actually reflects some like major trends happening right now, like how important sustainable food is becoming
Yeah.
and how technology is changing, even like traditional jobs.
Totally. Okay, so picture this, right? You're an on-foot aquatic resource collector. What does your day like actually look like?
Well, you might be wading through tide pools, surrounded by the sights and sounds of the coast,
Hmm.
or maybe you're out on a lake.
Okay, I'm picturing it. So what am I collecting like exactly?
We're talking seaweed,
Okay.
shellfish like clams, mussels, even crustaceans like crabs, lobsters, all of that.
So it's like being a farmer, but instead of fields, you've got the ocean
Yeah,
or a lake or a river. It's not just like ocean. Well,
exactly. And it's not just like about grabbing whatever you can find.
right.
These collectors, they use a blend of, like generations old knowledge
Yeah.
and some pretty like high-tech tools to do it sustainably.
That's what I find so cool about this job, right? You've got like traditional knowledge passed down probably for generations,
Right.
mixed with like cutting edge tools, tech, all that.
And it's more important than ever, I think, because the demand for sustainably sourced food it's just exploding.
Yeah, for sure.
Take seaweed, for example. People think sushi, right? But did you know it's used in everything from like bioplastics, which could be huge for the environment,
Oh, wow.
to cosmetics, to even biofuels.
Wow, I had no idea seaweed was that versatile. That's crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
And these on-foot aquatic resource collectors, they're on the front lines of all of that. They're not
Yeah.
just collecting food.
Yeah.
They're helping us like understand these ecosystems better, which is so vital for, research, conservation, all of that.
So it's like being a detective of the deep.
Yeah.
But not that deep, I guess.
Yeah.
The career guides don't they don't paint a picture of a like relaxing desk job though.
No.
It sounds like it's
Uh,
physically demanding with, unpredictable weather, tides, all of that. Imagine navigating those like slippery rocks, feeling the ocean spray.
and that's just one side of it.
Yeah.
These guides also talk about the like deep connection to nature that these collectors they develop. They're constantly observing, monitoring the health of these ecosystems. And they're becoming attuned to even the smallest changes in these environments. It's like a different pace of life than most of us are used to.
So despite these challenges, it seems like more and more people are drawn to this career path.
Yeah.
The guides mention a steady 5% job growth over the next decade, which is
That's huge.
that's huge. It seems like people are really starting to care about where their food comes from
Yeah.
and like the impact it has.
Absolutely is too. This isn't like just a job,
Yeah.
right? It's like potentially a big part of the solution
Yeah.
to some really important questions we're facing about how we're going to feed everyone sustainably, keep our planet healthy, all that.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But I have to admit, right, I was a little surprised by the mechanical skills
Right.
mentioned in the guides,
Right.
I wouldn't exactly call like collecting seaweed, a high-tech career. So what's going on there?
Well, it turns out,
Yeah.
right, it's not just about knowing the tides
Right.
and where to find the best shellfish.
Right.
These days, on foot aquatic resource collectors, they're using some like pretty sophisticated tools. We're talking things like remotely operated underwater vehicles, ROVs for short.
ROVs. Okay. Like those underwater drones that you see like exploring shipwrecks and stuff.
Exactly.
Oh.
Oh, wow. They use those to like assess the health of the ecosystems,
Wow.
monitor resource populations, even like help with the harvesting in a way that, minimizes environmental impact.
Right.
And that's just one example. They're also using, specialized software to track data, analyze trends,
Wow.
even predict the best times and locations for harvesting.
Wow. So this career really is like a blend of the old and the new.
It is.
You've got the traditional knowledge passed down through generations, right?
Right.
Combined with these like high-tech tools and data analysis. And it's
Yeah.
like a perfect example of how technology can actually enhance our connection to nature, not, not replace it.
Totally. I agree. That's a great point. And it's not just the tools themselves.
Right.
Remember like how we talked about stakeholder collaboration being like a key skill.
Right. Yeah, I was curious about that.
Yeah.
Who are the stakeholders in this whole
That's a good question.
scenario?
We're talking everyone from like local communities
Okay.
who rely on these resources, right, to government agencies
Right.
who are responsible for, managing them,
Right.
to like scientists conducting research on foot aquatic resource collectors.
Right.
They're often the kind of bridge between these different groups, right?
Wow.
They're collecting data that, informs scientific research. They're working with communities to ensure sustainable practices.
Wow.
And they're often like involved in implementing conservation efforts.
So even though it like might look like kind of a solitary job out there on the water,
Yeah.
there's actually a lot of like collaboration,
Yeah.
communication involved.
100%.
It's about like understanding the bigger picture, the interconnectedness of it all.
You got it. And that's actually like a perfect example, I think, of why this whole deep dive is so valuable.
Right.
Even if you're like not planning on, wading through tide pools for a living.
Right.
These aren't just like niche skills
Yeah.
for collecting seaweed, shellfish. We're talking data analysis, communication, problem solving, collaboration.
Yeah.
These are valuable, like in any field.
That's what makes these deep dives so insightful. Okay, so let's say someone listening to this, thinking to themselves like, you know what? That on-foot aquatic resource collector life, that's for me.
Right.
What will like help them ace that interview?
Well, the guides that we looked at, right? They had some pretty interesting examples of interview questions.
Okay.
Like how do you ensure safety during aquatic resource collection?
Right.
Which makes sense, right? You're out there, you're dealing with the elements, dealing with tides, maybe even some wildlife.
Absolutely. And it's not just about like personal safety though.
Right.
A big part of this job, it's ensuring the sustainability of the resources, like the health of the ecosystem.
Right.
So you might also get a question like, can you describe your knowledge of aquatic ecosystems and their importance?
Okay, yeah. That one's a bit more challenging, right? It's not enough to just know how to like find the seaweed or the shellfish, right?
Sure.
You need to understand the whole like delicate balance of the environment.
100%.
Yeah, it really highlights the expertise needed in this line of work, right?
It does. And this is where I think those AI tools we talked about earlier could be like a total game changer.
Right.
Remember RoleCatcher?
Yeah.
Imagine having AI analyze those like complex job descriptions,
Right.
and then like help you formulate really like compelling answers to those really tough interview questions,
Yeah.
It's like having a secret weapon in your back pocket.
It's like having a like personal interview coach powered by AI.
Totally.
Okay, so you've got your high-tech tools, right? You've aced those really tricky interview questions.
Yeah.
What's the final thing? What's that final thing that's going to make you stand out, right, from all the other candidates?
Passion.
Okay.
It might sound obvious, but genuinely caring about, sustainability, about the environmental impact of this work.
Yeah.
That's gonna shine through,
So it's about showing them that you're not just there to collect seaweed. You're there to like actually make a difference.
Exactly. Maybe during the interview you could talk about some initiatives in the field that you find like really inspiring, or how you see this role contributing to a larger like environmental goal.
Yeah.
That kind of passion, it's contagious,
It's about like connecting the dots between what you're passionate about and how this job, even one as like seemingly specific as on-foot aquatic resource collector,
Hmm.
how it actually like aligns with those values.
Right.
It's not just a job, right? It's a purpose.
And that's a powerful takeaway from like any career exploration, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Even diving into something like, on-foot aquatic resource collection, it can open your eyes to these broader trends, these transferable skills.
Totally.
Maybe even spark some ideas for your own path.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It just goes to show, right? You never know where you're gonna find inspiration. We often hear about technology replacing jobs,
Yeah.
but this career, I think, shows a different side to that whole story, right?
Absolutely.
It's about people and technology working together,
Yeah.
innovating to like create a more sustainable future.
It's a fascinating glimpse into, I think, what the future of work could look like. Not about choosing sides,
Right.
but finding ways to blend the old and the new, the traditional and the technological. And who knows, maybe it's even inspired a few listeners to consider a career as an on-foot aquatic resource collector themselves.
Well, I have to admit, it's a lot more appealing than I first thought, to be
Yeah.
honest. It just goes to show there's always something new to discover. There are always like hidden depths to explore
Right.
in the most unexpected places.
100%.
And on that note,
Yeah.
I think we've successfully navigated the tides and
I
currents
think so too.
of this deep dive into the world of the on-foot aquatic resource collector. Until next time, everyone, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep.